Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Girl Get Up podcast. This is the podcast where we share branding strategies and branding secrets with aspiring entrepreneurs like you to help you showcase your brand, tell your brand story, and showcase to an audience, excuse me, that's ready to support. My name is the Aquarian Chancellor, and listen, y'all. So yesterday I was going to put out a short, right? So I was doing the last minute spot check. I was doing a last minute spot check. And come to find out that the story that I wanted to share was not true. So I was like, okay, so to have a sense of integrity about reporting, especially when you're on a public platform, I decided to pull that story. I was like, I'm not going to share it. Okay, so the story wasn't, I don't know if anybody has heard this, but apparently it started circulating about a month ago. But anyway, the story was that Lil Wayne had launched free clinics for the homeless, free medical clinics for the homeless. Or if it wasn't him that was behind the launch, he was instrumental in making sure that, or I guess with funding and stuff like that. So, some odd reason it came across my feed. What's today? Today is Thursday. It came across my feed Tuesday evening. And I was like, oh my, I was so excited because honestly, like that is awesome. If that had been true, that would have been something that would be definitely newsworthy, something to report about. And for me, from the stories that I've been seeing, 2026 is going to be a huge year for humanitarian efforts. Yesterday, I saw something that came across my Instagram feed saying that Beyonce and Kelly Rowland was investing in housing. It was like an apartment building. That's what came through in the story. But they were investing in a housing initiative for the homeless as well. So I'm going to look into that just a little bit more. But so I decided to pull the Little Wayne story. I was like, nah, I'm not going to release it because I ended up seeing another content creator report that the story was false. So I was like, dang, because I really, really, really would like to see more stuff like that. I know a lot of celebrities and a lot of people who are in the industry and business people. You do not necessarily have to be in the industry, but a lot of people who generate a lot of business or who do very well in business have a lot of efforts when it comes to helping out the public and donating and charitable contributions that they don't really talk about a lot. So when I do see stuff like that, I like to share it. But I was like, dang, I would have liked to report it on that. But nonetheless, to have a public platform means that you have to have some type of integrity with what you report. So I definitely want it to be true. So, I pulled it. But I'm going to look into that Beyonce and Kelly Rowland story a little bit to see if that's true. And if there is truth to that, I will definitely do a short about it because I feel like stuff like that is something that we need to promote. We promote a lot of other stuff, a lot of gossip stuff and relationship stuff. So I would like to report on the stuff that's, number one is business related. And number two is just feel good stories. You when you help other people, it makes you feel good. So okay. So because I pulled it, I wanted to do a live last night. But after soccer practice and all of that, coming home, and it was just too late. And my energy be off at night. Like I don't want to rush through anything. I don't want to, be grumpy or, just lackadaisical or lackadaisical. I think that's what it is. Girl, get your tongue right. When it comes to stuff like that. So I want my full energy to come through. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to chill. So I ended up turning on Martin, getting my son to wind down a little bit. I ended up turning on Martin, and just so happened the Chilligan's Island. Now, when I say Martin, I mean Martin Lawrence show. The Martin. And just so happened my favorite episode, I'm talking about classic, was the Chilligan's Island episode. So y'all gotta keep in mind, my son is a little person. So he has no idea who Martin Lawrence is. Well, he does now. So that's what we're gonna talk about that. But he had no idea who Martin Lawrence is. Like, he's seen it, but he seen some of his shows because, you know, he'll sit and keep us company, myself or his dad, when we're watching our little shows or whatever like that. So he'll keep us company, and he might ask, oh, what's this or something like that, but he's not into it. He's not into it. So last night was the first time that he's ever sat and watched a Martin episode. And for me, I'm already gearing up because I already know it's about to be live. It's about to be all the way lit, especially when the puppy, when Martin starts fighting the little creature. I say puppy because Gina sit on the bed and she's like, oh, Martin, it's a puppy in the room. So anyway, we watching, and my son is over there cracking up. Like, he is, I've never seen him laugh so hard in a while. I've never seen him laugh so hard in a while. So I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, self, do you think that when Martin was creating or thinking about or conceptualizing the Martin show, that he had any idea of the impact that his show would have on generations, not just mine, because I grew up on Martin, but to watch my son genuinely enjoy an episode of Martin, I'm thinking to myself, did he have that in his mind going in? When he's presenting his shows or he's pitching his shows to executives over there on Fox, or now it's on BET. But, that goes back to my point of, did he ever think that that would be the end goal for him? And I'm like, you know what? Heck yeah, he sure did. He had to. You have to create with the end goal in mind. And that just solidified. I've heard that so many times, but watching that with my son, watching Martin with my son, watching him enjoy it, it really clicked for me then. Create with the end goal in mind. Okay, so I say all that to say is, we sitting here and we're enjoying the show, and it made me, think back to, see, this is the power of doing interviews. If you are an aspiring entrepreneur, if you are a creator, that means like an independent artist, or if you are a poet, an author, and you are, visiting different podcast platforms, or even if you're posting content to your own social media page, this is the power of giving context to what you are creating. Now, let me go back to my original thought. As I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about all of this, I start to play back a lot of the interviews that I saw from the cast and the crew. specifically Tashina. No, not Tashina Arnold. Dang, they names sound so close. Tisha Campbell. Thank you. Tisha Campbell. And I remember, because this was, matter of fact, this was very recent. I would say over the last 6 months. I remember watching a clip of her talking about linking up with Martin to do the show. She was saying that she had no idea going in that the show would be as big as it was, only because they had already had a relationship in the entertainment business. And she was saying that in this interview that Martin would call her all the time and be like, hey, Gina, or Tisha, sorry, I'm thinking about this show. I got this idea for a TV show. It's going to be real big, ... And she'd be like, yeah, okay. Because in her mind, you in the entertainment industry, people are always going to make promises. Oh, yeah, I got work and this, that, and the third, and nothing comes from it. And that's common. But she was saying that, he just kept coming to her with this idea. Hey, I'm working on this, or I'm thinking about this, and I think you'd be perfect for the show. And she's already auditioning for other things, and she had some other things lined up. But, she said something in her spirit, something told her, do it. Do it. So whatever she had lined up already, she put that aside. And she said, you know what? I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to do the show. From there, it was magic. It was magic. So, and that to me, like, I remember back in the day, like, my mother didn't let us watch a whole lot, but because, we grew a Jehovah's Witness or whatever. But the Martin show, we could watch. It was funny. They had some, I don't want to say inappropriate, because it was suitable. It wasn't something that was over the top. And it was just enjoyable. It was a family show. It was enjoyable and it was relatable. I lost my thought. But anyway, so she agreed to do the show. They moved forward with the show. And since then, it was gold. It was classic. And it's something that other media outlets now, and here it is, 20 years later, and you're still watching the episodes on major media platforms such as BET and all of these other things, keeping the end goal in mind, because Martin is a classic, okay? And it opened up so many other doors for not even just Martin, but Tashina Arnold. She's still on our TV screens today. Classic. All because of that one show. All because of that one show. Keeping the end goal in mind. Okay, so I thought, just the small things be so profound. So I just wanted to leave you all with that message, because here, another story that I've been seeing is that Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy, they're Eddie Murphy's son and Martin Lawrence's daughter were married, I want to say maybe about a year. So now they're expecting their first grandchild. So remember I said it opened up the door for other opportunities. Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy, the movie Life. I'm scared to dog. Another classic. I mean, what happened to our good shows like that, our good movies like that? Like that late 1990s into the early 2000s Black film era was, what happened to that? We need some good films like that to come back out. But see, this is what I'm saying, etched in history. You cannot talk about Black film and not talk about a Life or Bad Boys or The Clumps and The Nutty Professor. It's Eddie Murphy. How did he put? you pull off the whole playing the every character in the family. So when you hear these interviews of people who have worked with them and they're talking about their genius, having the end goal in mind. So now they about to have a new addition to their legacy. Okay. And there's no telling what we can expect from their children and their grandchildren. Leaving something behind. Not only, it doesn't necessarily mean that it will be public facing, like the world will see something great that you have accomplished. Maybe it's just something for your children or for your grandchildren to see and be inspired by and to pick up and push it to the next level for their generation. So just small things, releasing expectations of what you think things is supposed to look like and just live your way through. Okay, so just create big, do big, put your whole heart into it, and know, like, okay, it's not just for me. It's not just for me. This is for my kids. This is for my kids, and all the way on down the line. So that kind of is the watching my son enjoy Martin and just thinking about, I don't know, to me, I just found that so profound. I just found that so profound. So when I invite my business owners and the creatives who come onto my show, you know, the Girl Get Up podcast is heard in 33 countries and counting. So when we share our stories on these public platforms, whether it's my podcast, whether it's a podcast, a podcast peer, think about it, share your story in a way as to where you're thinking about your legacy. Even when you are thinking about or creating your products and your services and you're solving a problem in the world, how can my next generation that I leave something behind to, how can they pick this up and run with it, make it better? Okay, so with that, I am going to leave you all for today. I might put out a short today. I don't know, but I was kind of disappointed because I really was hoping that Lil Wayne story was true. That would have been excellent. But I'm sure he's done other things that are newsworthy, or that is newsworthy, that we haven't heard about yet, things that are coming. So with that, everyone, thank you for joining me on the Girl Get Up podcast, and I will see you next episode. Take care, everyone.